What's up, all my fight fans? So we got UFC 278 this coming Saturday, and I'm very excited for it. We got the main event: Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. 7 years in the making. I am not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it's 7, but don't quote me on that. So we got Kamaru Usman, who is by far the UFC's #1 pound for pound fighter. He is the GOAT right now in the UFC. You got Israel Adesanya, you still got John Jones, you got Alexander Volkanovski. My personal opinion, Kamaru Usman is leading the pack. So, you know, as of late, we've seen Kamaru Usman, who's just looking like a beast. He had that back and forth fight with Colby Covington. He's had that knockout win over Jorge Masvidal. He had that TKO win over Gilbert Burns. Then he has fought, this is a rematch, he has fought Leon Edwards. And it was not what we're used to seeing. Of course, if we look back in that fight, it definitely does not look like Kamaru. Kamaru has definitely, got better over the years, obviously, just like what you're supposed to do. And yeah, he in the beginning of his stages of his career, he was much more of a grappler, but right now he is fell deeply in love with his striking. That knockout of Jorge Masvidal was just phenomenal. I mean, that was probably one of the best knockouts I've ever seen. And then, his grappling is even that much better as well. Colby Covington is no punk. Colby Covington is a highly decorated wrestler as well, and he couldn't really get Jorge Masvidal down. I believe that there was only like one takedown in both their fights, so that says a lot. So Kamaru is definitely has evolved in his career, has definitely become so much more of a mixed martial artist than his first fight. Now, Leon Edwards, that was his last loss. He has not lost since then. He went in there with the likes of Gunnar Nelson, Donald Cerrone, Rafael dos Anjos. That unfortunate fight with Bilal Muhammad, it was a good first round, but he ended up having that eye poke. So, it happens. It's unfortunate. And then he had that fight with Nate Diaz. And Nate Diaz, unfortunately for Leon Edwards, we just remember that last round. He was definitely just out striking Nate at every turn. He was very technical, very on point with his strikes and such. And then it was just not up until that last round where he got caught. Now, as big of a Nate Diaz as I am, which everyone definitely knows this, I'm all about the Diaz's, Diaz Army all the way. I believe that Leon Edwards just was coasting that last minute of that last round and pretty much had it in the bag, didn't want to take any chances, and just got caught, But nonetheless, he still won. So who are we going to pick? Who are you guys going to pick? Who am I going to pick? Well, I'll tell you guys right now once I break this down. You got Kamaru Usman, like I said, who has evolved, becoming way better than he was that first fight. You got Leon Edwards, who has not lost, and also himself got a lot better since that first fight. Now, what a lot of people are sleeping on with this fight, they're thinking, rematch, that first fight wasn't the best, but I do believe this fight is going to be that much more better, and it's a lot more interesting right now. And here's why. You got Kamaru Usman, who I just gave all the pros to, but here's the cons. He's coming off hand surgery. I believe he broke his hand in that Kobe fight. Then you got him having this really bad history with his legs. He has not been able to really run, I think. He said he can't even run on cement. And I think that comes from a long history of him being a wrestler. And then you have him also talking about jumping 2 weight classes and going to that 205 pound, the light heavyweight division, possibly facing the champion up there. So that's where I ask you guys, is Kamaru distracted? Is Kamaru the same? Because not just with all these body injuries, with the fact that he might be distracted going up a different weight class, he's also been in a lot of wars. That those 2 wars with Colby Covington was no easy fight for Kamaru. Like I just said, he's the greatest. He's the pound for pound right now. But Colby Covington gave him a fight. Both those fights. Even though he lost that first fight, Colby Covington did. He still gave it to Kamaru. Like, it was really touch and go with those both fights. So those are his cons, I believe. those right there, you got, again, the body injuries, you got the wars, you got the fact that he wants to go up to 205 pounds. And then not also that, but he also got him being a longer champion. And we know, we've seen this with a lot of other champions in the past, where they cannot hold the belt on too long because of that pressure of being champion does weigh on them. We've seen it with other champions. It's not just like a Kamaru thing, or it's not just anybody else. It does happen. Um, that's the cons for Kamaru. What we got with Leon is Leon, um, he has not really had too much octagon time. We remember he was supposed to be scheduled against Tyron Woodley, and Tyron Woodley in March 2020, but we all know this, what happened around that time frame. COVID came and said, all you guys, whatever plans you got, done. I'm canceling all your plans. Not just in the United States, not just in Europe, not just in South America, don't matter. I'm canceling everybody's plans in the whole world. And unfortunately, Leon Edwards was very much impacted by that. He was supposed to, and then his fights kept getting rescheduled and rescheduled. I believe he had 6 rescheduled fights. Couldn't get a fight until, I think, 2021 against Bilal Muhammad. I can't remember exactly when that was. May have been February, may have been March. Then he was able to, of course, we know what happened there. He had that unfortunate eye poke, and he still won, but it wasn't a whole lot to go off of. I think it only went 1 round, maybe 2. And then he had that fight with Nate Diaz. I believe that was in June 2021, if I'm correct. So he had maybe a total of a half hour in the octagon, where Kamaru Usman has literally been on a tear ever since. Even in the pandemic time, I believe that's when he fought Jorge Masvidal in July, I believe, 2020. Then, of course, he went on, faced, he got Gilbert Burns, and then he got Jorge Masvidal again. Then he got Colby Covington again. So, again, there's a lot of cons for Leon Edwards as well. Not a lot of octagon time. He's been training, which is good, but still, it's good to be in there using your new skills that you developed. So with that said, you got the pros and cons for both Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman. Who am I going to pick? Well, I'll tell you guys right now, I'm going to go with Kamaru Usman, because as good as I feel Leon Edwards is, this is going to be an extremely tough fight for Kamaru Usman. Colby Covington, I believe, is Kamaru Usman's equal, but Leon Edwards is just right there. Leon Edwards is very, very technical with his striking, very he has a very, very good techniques. And then, he's built his strategies up throughout his training camps from multiple fighters. Like I said, he fought against grapplers like a Gunnar Nelson. Then he's fought against a really good high strikers like a Donald Cerrone and Rafael dos Anjos, and he was able to beat and neutralize all of them. And again, also a great striker, Nate Diaz, and also a great grappler, Bilal Muhammad. He was able to outdo all those. But I believe that Kamaru Usman's game is just that much more better. His ground game, not his ground game, but his takedown defense. Like I said, he couldn't get taken down by very few people. Jorge Masvidal himself is actually a really good grappler as well. But Colby Covington, I believe, is the best grappler in the division, and he couldn't get taken down. Then you have his striking, which has been phenomenal. And you look at Jorge Masvidal, who is by far a very high-level professional striker in that division. You put him in against anybody and just striking alone, and I believe, Jorge Masvidal will come on top. And, Usman was able to knock him out, no problem. So I believe Usman's game is just that much more better. Of course, I did mention his cons. There is quite a few there, so it does make things a little more interesting. Makes us want to see how good or how ready he is for this, with his injuries, with the possible distractions. But the key thing I like to see is, what I would like to say is regarding this is that when it comes to rematches, we've seen him against Masvidal. That first fight, and then the second fight, he just steamrolled through Masvidal. He knocked him out clean. So I believe that with Usman, he's downloaded enough with Leon Edwards that he could be able to do what he wants and when he wants at will. Could be wrong. So with that said, with a win, possible win, excuse me, for Kamaru Usman, what will be next? I believe you got this Hamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz fight coming up in September. I strongly believe that would be a very strong possibility, or he might fulfill his goal of going to light heavyweight and possibly challenging for the title up there. Now, in the possibility, which it could be very possible that he loses, who is he going to go against? Or what will happen next? What if Leon Edwards does take that victory? I do strongly believe that with as great as Kamaru Usman has been, as pound for pound, being the pound for pound king right now in the UFC, he would automatically get a rematch, 100%. You cannot do it. I don't give a crap what happens in that fight. You cannot deny, unless he's physically unable to fight, you cannot deny Kamaru Usman a rematch to get for his belt back. As far as Leon Edwards goes, again, I just mentioned what would happen if he does win. What if he loses? Well, guys, it's not that big of a deal. Why? Because we might be able to get that fight that we all kind of wanted ever since back in March 2019. We got that 3-piece in the soda for Jorge Masvidal, and that could be next in line for Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards could very much, challenge Jorge Masvidal, and I would be very interested in seeing that fight. So there you guys have it. I got Kamaru Usman winning. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.